Hey, what is up, everybody? It's Matt with Mikey Designs and Shan the Shop Gnome. Give him a big MTV rap. Yo, over there. No, you're not rolling with it.
Yo. Yo!
Grumpy pants.
I'm not grumpy.
You sleepy potato.
I don't even remember where that's from.
That was from the Bruce Willis roast.
Oh, yeah.
The Comedy
he looked like
Central
a sleepy potato.
Well, it wasn't Bruce Willis.
No,
it was some other
It
actor.
was that Italian guy.
Yeah.
That's as far as
He's
I
from
can
the Godfather or some crap.
He's like, oh, you sleepy potato.
I don't know.
Hey.
Yeah, is that female?
Is it Jorge? If it's...
Yeah,
Okay.
Jorge Vasquez.
Yo!
Vasquez. Yo, what's going on? Welcome as we kind of hang out for a moment, wait for people to kind of chime in as we banter about something that has nothing to do with screen printing whatsoever, but that's just kind of how we roll. Isn't it, Shannon?
Yeah, it is. Hi, guys. From Junior. Hi, Junior. Junior Diosa? I feel like I butcher like, all these names so badly.
Diosa? Diosa?
I'm going to go with Junior.
I feel like I'm saying Dios, like...
Guys,
anyway,
guess
Junior
what?
Diosa.
I won my first
Hi,
eBay bidding.
She did.
I got an iPad for $57.
She did, because her other one just, let's just say it crapped out. And the screen's completely broke.
It has holes in it.
Hey, what's up, Rye Beats?
Hey, Rye Beats.
Welcome to Shop Talk Live. That's so stupid.
Wait, Shop Talk Live? That's stupid? I don't think it's stupid.
No, the voice I was doing.
That was.
Obviously.
I'm not going to
I'm not a radio personality. I was trying out my radio personality voices. Kind of like, did you ever listen to Walton and Johnson when it was on the radio FM? They still have an AM station, but they're hilarious. Walton is kind of like, he just has his voice and he kind of brings up the topics and all that. But then Johnson, he does about 4 different voices.
Oh, thanks, Junior.
One of them is a black guy, another's a gay guy, a hillbilly, and then he calls in from another phone as Anton. He's like, yo, my name's Anton. And he just says the most stupid stuff ever. But anyways.
You're old.
No. Actually, they were in New York. They were, what's his name? Howard Stern. They were one of his big competitions, but Howard Stern outdid them, obviously. But Junior Diosa, yes, Colombian living in Cincinnati. Oh, you're Colombian living in Cincinnati. Awesome. What's it like in Cincinnati?
One of the girls I went to law school with was from Colombia. It was so much fun listening to her talk. She was a hoot.
Thanks. We appreciate the compliment. You rock. You rock for showing up and coming to hang out with us. Because, we appreciate everybody that does hang out with us. And we enjoy having a little bit of fun going live and just kind of going off on tangents and all that. What is up, Jason? It was funny because I got this idea. I'll show you here in a little bit, and that kind of reminds me of it with the wave that Jason put up. You'll see what I'm talking about.
Are you just gonna spring this on me? Like,
yeah, I just
me plus everybody else. I don't get like a heads up first.
Yeah. Come over here, right over here by me, and right now we're on the little wait screen, so it's okay if you come over here. I promise I will not click it over immediately so people see you. Come here, Shannon.
Okay. I'm trusting you.
Okay, I'm gonna whisper it in your ear. No, I was just gonna say, still with the nonprofit organizations. Raise your hand, and then you put the little note. Never mind. Is that stupid? I feel like there was too much dead air.
Yeah, there was. Click it over, Jason says. Yes, we will. It's 7:05.
Oh, we'll probably be getting her a camera here soon. I think we're officially just about at the point towards where the monetization of the channel can afford a camera. It's either A, going to go on Shannon, or she's going to completely chicken out, and then you'll just have a better camera on me. He doesn't see you.
Jason!
I know what you see over there.
Okay,
there we go. Rye Beats, he's offering. He's going to order you one on eBay. Just get one of those Logitech, the 12, or excuse me, 1080p ones. That's what we're after. Man, those things are crisp. The one I got that's on my computer that's built in kind of blows. So if she doesn't use it, I will. So she said we'll talk about that here in a moment, but let's go ahead and kick it over so that way you can stare at me and my co-host just is off over on the side of.
And they're all saying they can see me, and I'm just going, ah! Okay, why don't we click it over?
Okay, Shannon, you want to come over here and click it over?
I don't.
You want to run the back end of this thing real quick?
Nah.
Okay, all right, guys, we're going to kick this on over, and we'll start talking about some stuff. Oh, my God, that would be awesome. Hopefully, Shannon... what's up, guys? Matt with Mikey Designs here with Shannon, the shop gnome across the way. One of these days, I promise, Shannon will be on camera. Let's just allow her to get... You're pretty comfortable now, right? At least talking.
Yeah, I'm fine talking. And one of these days, we're going to stop talking about me getting on.
No, we're not.
Anyways...
Okay. Well, we're not going to talk about you getting off. I mean... Off camera, that is. Off camera. Anywho, so how has everybody's week been? I hope you had a great weekend. I hope you got a lot of orders. What has been going on this past week? Today is Monday. How's your Monday been? Shannon, what were you going to say?
Well, first off, I promised Amanda, one of our clients, that I'd give her a shout out because she said she was going to tune in. So what's up, Amanda? You're amazing. We just did a decal for her.
What's up, Amanda?
Welcome. Hey, it was...
And she's the only person that I can actually see driving around the decal that actually has the F word in it.
Amanda's really cool.
I just looked at it and I was like, yep, that's her.
We got it was a great meeting her. I'm sorry, I am awful with names. Shannon, what's her husband's name? Do you remember?
Chris?
Is it Chris?
I hope so.
I hope so too.
That's the one that I just threw out there.
I don't forget faces, but names to me, I have the hardest time remembering names. But it was awesome meeting your husband and everything, and it was really cool installing that sticker on your vehicle. So we did Amanda has been a client of ours since last year, and we've done a handful of jobs for her, and they're always cool stuff. It's always cool stuff and edgy. And so we did a sticker. She just got a new vehicle, and we did a vinyl sticker for her window. And it says, well, Shannon, what does it say?
Fuck, fight, trip, pipe.
There you go. That's what it said. I wanted her to say it.
Awesome. Thank you. Oh, and before we get to anything else, everybody congratulate me. I'm going to be an aunt again.
That's
My brother's having a little boy. So,
yeah.
yay! The due date is on our daughter's birthday.
Yes. That's the crazy thing. I don't think we even said anything to him, did we?
Mm-mm.
But I wonder what they're going to name him. But congratulations, Colin. If you are watching, congratulations. That's awesome. He probably not. He's probably feeding the baby right now. Or no, actually it's probably bedtime.
Yeah.
Or
and congratulate me. I got a $57 iPad.
And she got an iPad.
Okay, that's my news for the day. Oh, thank you, Jason. Thank you, Uproar.
That is Shannon's that is Shannon's work iPad. She likes to get a lot of stuff done on it. And she likes to get a lot of downtime stuff done on it as well.
I need a new one. You can show them.
You want me to show them your iPad?
Yeah, this is the condition mine is
so
in.
Here's the thing about Shannon. as lovely as she is and
The
as
worst
smart
thing in
as she
the
is,
world is to be reincarnated as one of my electronics.
she is, let's just say, not as graceful as a ballerina. And she breaks
Thank
she
you,
breaks
Jorge.
stuff.
Thank you, Junior.
Here's her iPad. As you can see, all these holes in it. I don't know how many times I taped this thing up. Look at this. No, over here. Excuse me. Everything's backwards. Just look at that. How does that even happen? There's the camera right there. Let me rub on that. Like, how does that... This thing's got spider webs for days.
You know what? You were responsible for some of those. I'm just gonna say, and you know what? I made it work until it stopped charging.
You know what? Let's just end it there because I could go on about how my iPhone got completely broken up. I don't even want to grab it out of the desk because it looks very similar. And I'm not saying that the shop gnome's responsible, but she kind of is. Anyhow, so tell us about.
Okay, so we've already got
about
questions.
your week. Yes, Shannon, please do tell us what are some of those questions.
Highness.
Did you say Highness?
No,
I'm gonna try and
Nasser. I'm gonna butcher these names. I don't know why. I'm off my game with names. I'm never on my game.
Well,
Jason wants to know something that I can't find because
reclaiming question. Is that the one?
indigenous. Yes. He's saying something. Reclaiming question. After you're done spraying out the degreaser, do you do the flood rinse with no pressure, and why?
Okay, so with reclaiming, I only use degreaser when I get a new screen because generally your emulsion remover already has a degreaser in it, and if it doesn't, you should look into one that has a degreaser. So we don't get new screens often until they're torn up, and then we take them to GSG, and they have this exchange program, and so I think it's about $15 instead of $25. You just bring your screen in. Sometimes they give you some of the shittiest, excuse my French, but sometimes they give you really crappy frames, but it saves you money. Anyhow, anytime I get a new screen, I'll degrease it. That's probably about the only time I'll degrease it. Aside from that, once I reclaim the screen, I do the ink remover, emulsion remover. At that point, I do take the water hose and then just kind of shower it. I hold it over it and then kind of work my way down, so that way you almost get like a sheet of water going down it. And the reason is when you're using your power washer, even if you're applying degreaser, I like to use the power washer just to push all that stuff out and then go over it with the hose. And that's just to make sure that when you are using the power washer, as dirty as our washout booth is, I see other people that their washout booths are really nice. Like Jonathan at Catspit, I'm like, man, how has yours been so nice for so long? And our washout booth has seen thousands upon thousands of reclaims. And so when you're using that power washer, some of that crap that's stuck in the back can make its way, bounce off that backlight back into your screen. So really it's just to make sure your screen is as clean as possible, because you want the cleaner the better results you're going to get. Your emulsion's going to hang on to the screen better. You're not going to get pinholes. If there's even the tiniest little bit of dirt or anything in there, then that's going to be a problem spot where you're going to get pinholes. And it doesn't even have to really even do with dust or anything else. It could just be that your screen is not completely clean. So, they call it screen printing because, if you don't have that, that's your main thing to work with is your screen. So if your screen's not completely clean, then you're going to have issues. sometimes that crap ends up in the image itself, and you have a hard time rinsing that out, especially if you're doing halftones. Then you have to completely redo the screen sometimes. Kind of, Shannon, you remember that job? I forget the client's name at the moment, but it was that almost sunlight graphic where it was the golden yellow.
Yeah.
And it had that one little spot where it looked like a highlight.
Yeah, we have a video on it. That's wet on wet. That's our wet on
yeah.
wet
video.
It
Yeah,
was the lighting place.
I think it was a video log, and I just called it a 2-color print video log. You can go back and look at that, and you'll see where it's a little piece of dirt in there that just didn't allow the film to make that positive contacts. That way your image exposes properly. So there's some of the reasons why.
Fun fact.
You want it clean.
We named our power washer Hoozle.
Yeah.
Because it goes, woo!
I mentioned that in one of the video logs when we were still at the house. I told everybody that we call it Hoozle. I originally wanted to call it Spot, but Hoozle I think is the one that just stuck because of Shannon, the shop gnome over here. She's very persistent and convincing when it comes to
no, I think it's
pet
just
names. She kept
Well,
calling it
just
Hoozle. And I was like, no, it's Spot.
It has this uncanny way of just like going woo, like right after one of us finishes making a point talking.
It's
really
odd
weird.
because
So I just named it Hoozle.
One, I forget to turn it off, and then two, because it is a $120 pressure washer, after letting it sit for 30 minutes to an hour, it will slowly lose just a little bit of pressure through the nozzle. The gun that's on it now isn't the original one. That's the second one. And eventually it'll just go, wah, and it sounds like it's going who? Or how's it go, Shannon? What does it sound like it's doing?
Woo!
Yes.
Okay. So
All right, go ahead.
Jorge has a question. He asked if we use a dip tank.
Oh.
And for any of the cleaning techniques. Jason says he's building a dip tank. It cuts down on 59% of scrubbing. And he says it's going to be a savior. And his pressure washer's name is Pause.
It's called Pause?
Pause.
Pause?
I think it's like POS.
Oh. Yeah. I get you there. I like what you did there. I forgot what the question is now that I know what.
Do we use a dip tank?
No, we do not use a dip tank. I actually have thought about getting a dip tank, and then I've kind of gone back and forth because I do know with the dip tank you dip your screens in there for 10-15 seconds. The problem is, okay, I'll be honest. The reason why we haven't moved forward with the dip tank is once all that emulsion remover goes bad, one, you got to get rid of the 40-50 gallons worth of solution in there. You got to get rid of that. How fun is that going to be?
Views.
And then you got to spend a couple $100 to replenish it. And I've watched a lot of people's videos, their feedback. There's some people that are just ecstatic about it, and there's others that aren't. I can say I haven't reclaimed screens in the past couple of weeks now, so I can care less.
Yeah, we've started to.
Our good buddy
out.
Panda has,
whom you might have seen.
Right. He has kind of taken over we're kind of getting at the point where we're like, okay, if we can get someone in the shop, because Shannon and I, we tag team the office stuff, and then we tag team screen printing. So Panda has really been coming in, hiring him to reclaim the screens, all because the cabinet that we have holds 20 screens. So I'll be like,
yo,
the beginning of the week, I'll tell him, I'm like, okay, would you like to come in and help out with the shop? Because he really would like to help. I'm like, okay, we'll pay you X amount of dollars per hour, or X amount of dollars for the job, I know it's good. It'll take X amount of time, right? So because we are really good friends and we chat a lot, so if there's a lot of chatting, then it slows it down. And granted, not everybody anyone coming into something new, it takes some time to catch on. And so we got a cool deal. Like, I love Panda. I think he's awesome.
You spent 30 minutes on him right before we got on the...
We were on the phone for 30 minutes before we started doing a live show. Yeah.
And then
so
you hear him just like from the other side, bye, Shannon.
So he's been helping out and all that. And
okay.
He wants to earn some money, and we could use his help. Plus, I'm gonna start training him to load up shirts on the automatic press, getting him towards
auto?
where. What, baby?
The auto?
No.
You said automatic press.
Did I?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. No, I said on the press.
No,
I don't know.
You said automatic press.
Anyways, I must have been thinking like an automatic situation. Like in the situation where you have an automatic, so essentially he's going to be the person loading, and then when it comes around to me, I'm the one printing and then taking the shirts off. So that's probably where my brain was going, and I spat out the automatic thing.
Yeah, see, Jason and Waldo, you said auto.
Did I? My bad.
Okay, so...
it's automatic. Wiki.
As to the dip tank thingy, Jason says you get a super small one that only holds for one screen, dip for 1 second, solution lasts forever. And we have a question.
Okay, going back to is this actually feeding here? I'm like taking a look at this. Okay, sorry, I got a little distracted because I'm trying to get the feed going here with the chat so you guys can see me and the chat coming up. Okay, yeah, that's cool that they have smaller ones. I think, not that I think, I know for a fact we just haven't budgeted for that just yet. I would say that will be one of the next things we look into, and then I need to do something to better my palette situation. But Shannon, what is the question?
Junior wants to know how you set the graphic to print like a faded image.
Okay, so Junior, what you're going to need is, you can do it manually you need to use halftones. I would recommend a rip software if you can't quite afford it just yet. And maybe I'll do a tutorial on this. You can do it in Photoshop towards where you do your separations and you're essentially using halftones. So let's say, for instance, you're going from a red to a yellow, right? And then in the middle, it looks orange. You're going to use halftones to create that illusion of a gradient. And that's how you create a gradient, really. And sometimes you can kind of overlap those things or just do an overprint. It just depends on how you want to separate it. There's no right or wrong way when it comes to that, as long as you get the results you're looking for. So that's how we go about doing gradients.
I don't know. Why are you looking at me like to confirm? Like I know anything about this.
I'm looking at you because it's hilarious because you're over there kind of.
I'm not gonna lie, I zoned. He started getting into the.
See, I thought you were just curious and maybe learning, but I get it, Shannon. Okay.
I zoned out.
Okay, it's boring stuff. I get it.
He's going to be doing a semester-long class or whatever for Adobe Illustrator, and he's gonna make me watch it.
It's not that I'm going to make you watch it. The thing is, you need to learn it. I want you to learn it. Plus, also, you're my co-host. For one, I enjoy having you on these things, and it's almost like, okay, so with a live deal, doing a live class, almost a semester type deal where I'm like if you have zero experience with Illustrator or Photoshop, I'm going to do two separate ones. If people are tuning in, you don't quite get the same response as if you had 15 people in the classroom asking questions. Plus, I could use help with any questions that come up. And I think it would be beneficial for us both if you learned it. I mean, you're an artist too.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. I'm just saying.
You're saying you want me to be part of it, and
no, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I have to go to school. I'm gonna have homework again.
You're not good. Okay, I'll just say this: when it comes to anything you do, you get what you put into it. If you really put some time into it and you have that drive to do it, then you're going to learn it. But I think showing you some of the ropes will be beneficial because you helped out quite a bit with some of the mock-ups when we were just like stacked with a lot of stuff, and you did great.
Aw,
But
thank you.
you used Photoshop quite a bit. Illustrator, I think I started teaching Shannon at one point.
Bye, Rybeats.
And then, see you later, Rybeats. Started teaching it, and then we moved into the shop, so we kind of lost focus on that. And I did give you a little bit of homework, but I think part of the problem, too, was making you do something that you weren't exactly excited about doing. Like if it were one of the designs you had came up with, it would have been more fun. So
Probably.
I probably took the wrong approach.
He taught me the way that he was taught in school, which was
Right.
to learn the curves and everything for tracing from the star furniture.
Yeah, the pen tool.
Yeah.
Well, it's a really basic one. It's a really basic tool, and so I think in our situation, I think that would be useful for anybody that tunes in. But in your situation, for you to get excited about it, I think it needs to be something you're interested in.
Well, I have an addictive personality, and I obsess over the things that I actually enjoy. So you're probably right. But anyways, so I'm going to be learning with anybody that decides to tune in. I'll be right there with you guys, and except you guys will be like, "Wow, this is amazing," and I'm just like, "Ugh."
You're getting free information. I don't know. I think it'll be cool.
I'm
a few levels.
You know, I'm bitching way more than I need to be, and I know that. And I'm just giving you a hard time mostly. You know that, right? I love you being a teacher. You're a great teacher.
You know,
I love learning from you, and I would love to be able to find new ways to have like all my creativity expressed.
Don't worry, I'm listening to you. I'm not zoning out or anything. I'm not adjusting this microphone. No, I agree.
But I do really do zone out when you start talking about
I have no idea what you just talked about. Okay, moving. Shannon's flicking me off. That's not cool.
Okay, so they're still all really talking about the
What are we talking about? The
they're
iPad.
still talking about the dip tank.
The dip tank?
They're very interested in this dip tank thing.
Okay, what do we got going on here dip tank wise? It's okay. For one, I'm trying to figure out whether this live feed portion down over that, I swear everything's backwards. Like, no, pointing the wrong way. Over there. Is this working, guys? Is it keeping up? Because I always feel like I'm having to. Okay, yeah, it looks like it is. It's hard to tell because it's like this small on my screen. Okay, so
the last comment was by Chief Alutz.
Chief Alutz. What was the last comment? Let's see.
CDR has sodium. Yeah, no, I'm not trying that. Something salt that no one else's formula had.
Let's see. He had a 6-screen tank and just pulled it out some water at a month and added Jeez, hold on. What? Shannon, you wanna take care of that?
Huh?
I don't know. I'm okay. So Chief Lots had a 6-screen tank and just pulled out some water at 1 month and added fresh. In 2 months, just put a Franmar neutralizer and dumped. My home shop could probably use it all year with just fresh water. See, so I'm reading this and I'm getting.
It's okay, Jorge.
I'm trying to comprehend what's yeah. So I get what he's saying. It essentially, yeah. I think it goes back to what I was really talking about is just the fact that it's almost like maintaining a fish tank.
I
To
killed
an
a goldfish
extent.
in a day.
To me, part of that is they require more maintenance as well. And I get that you can keep them. I don't know. It just seems like more maintenance versus taking a spray bottle and going just scrubbing the crap out of it, putting your emulsion remover and blasting it out and being done for the day. Jason ends, Jorge. I think that
Jason says they really don't take that much more time.
Really, they really don't. Okay, well, I'm gonna give one a try. I just haven't budgeted for it. Really, we're not as much as it seems like we're just rolling in the deep with our screen printing shop. You know, we're pretty minimalistic with everything that we do have. I mean, the press that we got is a used press. I mean, we love our setup, but also getting new equipment. That's something we do. We kind of baby step it, which is why we're at the point where we're at now. It's just baby stepping it. So a dip tank, we'll give that a shot. And if I absolutely hate it, I'll put it up on one of the screen printing use screen printing equipment places. I'm not convinced yet.
And also, we have our system, and we are used to our system, and it's kind of like, it's not exactly like old dogs, new tricks type thing. It's more we're used to the system, so we're faster, we're more efficient at it. We know we can time exactly what we have to do, how long things are going to take.
Right.
And we are the fastest that we can be with our system right now. And
This
so if
is
we started
true.
something new, it's kind of like Panda learning.
Yeah. Say, for example, I forget. I've timed things out, and this is something you guys should do.
Hey, Free Press.
If you haven't just yet. It's time how long it takes for you to do everything, all your processes from reclaiming your screens to doing a simple separation, setting it up on press, how long it takes you to print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, however many colors is on your press, how long it takes you to tear it down, how long it takes you to clean your tools and all that. I've got all that timed, and it takes me on average 3 minutes per screen from the time I pull it, put it inside the washout booth, scrub the ink out, scrub emulsion remover on it, spray it out, and put it inside the cabinet. 3 minutes. I think that's pretty quick. A dip tank, though, I do see the benefit in the fact that you can dip a few screens in there at a time, take one out, blow it out. So Shanna, if you're not familiar with it, you put the screen inside the dip tank. It breaks down the ink, the emulsion, and you leave it in there for a couple minutes.
Yeah,
Take it out, and then there's none of the scrubbing and all that. So
right, I remember you showed me a video because you were kind of there for a while.
I was contemplating one.
There for a while you were contemplating it and stuff, and then I think one of the biggest reasons you decided against it for the moment was we were going through so many screens. Like at that time, it wasn't no dip tank was gonna fit like what we.
Keep saying it. I'm sorry.
I've lost it.
I gave her a kissy face and she lost track. Okay. Chief Alot says that the point of my elaboration was I put it in with ink and power wash emulsion, no scrubbing except the image on the mesh. which I think I just kind of touched on a little bit. You're right. You dip it in there for a moment, pull it out, and then you blow it out, which is great. So we don't have one at the moment, so I can't really give you an honest feedback. I've kind of have heard a lot of mixed reviews between people, and there are quite a bit of larger shops that don't even really use it. So it's kind of preference, really. It's like, what do you prefer? Do you prefer spray tack or the palette, the water-based palette adhesive? It probably doesn't increase productivity, but I can't really tell you just yet because we don't have one. So that's something we're going to look into in the future, and we're going to end up, we'll give one a shot. But I see that we do have
2 questions.
a question.
2
we got
questions.
We got a question or two.
Okay. Jorge was first. Do you do the push technique, for fibrillation? Push technique fibrillation.
No, the keep fibrillation down. I can't really say that the push or pull technique makes any difference on a manual from my experience. The reason I tend to use a push print aside from a pull print is it's easier on my wrist, and because when you're doing a pull you're doing a pull, and a lot of people will tell you that doing a pull print is the way to go. That's kind of like the standard, right?
Hey, Sandra.
You know, it's whatever gets the job done. But for me, when you're doing a pull print, there's a lot going on with your wrist here. I feel like there's more going on with your hands. You're putting a lot more on your knuckles and your fingers and your it's more like doing a pull up versus doing the push technique is more of a push up type deal. I would say do whatever is comfortable for you. It doesn't matter fibrillation wise. The only thing that I can say that really combats that, there's inks out there. There's manufacturers that we've tried where they're like, okay, this is an ink that helps with fibrillation. I haven't seen a single ink that really helps with that. The thing that does help, and I'm sure Shannon will agree, is when we do a flattening screen. We use a flattening screen, which isn't all the time. If it's a huge job and we need to get it out quick, that's just an extra step that's going to take more time. If it's something where we want to do a really nice job, and especially if it's just let's say a black shirt with white, we'll do the flattening screen on it, and it really helps make the print a lot smoother. And Shannon knows, she'll tell you that there's definitely a difference.
I can see a difference, yeah.
Yeah.
Even to my semi-untrained eye.
Right. So go check out our video on using a flattening screen. It's really simple to use, and you can even use it for more than just a print flash print with white. You can use it for your a white base and then printing your colors on top of it, and it helps a lot. I think that's probably really the only thing that I've seen or have experienced that really helps with fibrillation. And Shannon, fibrillation is the little fibers sticking up. So
yes, I know.
Yeah, man, I've taught you well.
You're a great teacher. So we have 2 more questions.
Go ahead.
We have 2 more questions. But it looks, Indonesia just had one, but it looks like Chief Alat's already answered it for him. It's on Separation Studio. Does it break down any multicolor picture or drawing into 9 colors or less? I'm trying to figure out if the software will be good to use. Thanks. Oh, and before you answer that, Upward, send us pictures of that. He's gonna build a pump like ours.
Oh, cool.
Okay, so
yeah,
anyways,
I'd love to check that out.
But Chief Alat says Separation Studios can be broken down into my screen went back. Broken down into less screens by combining colors. Also tried it out. Separa was okay. It was okay.
Okay, so for one, if you are interested in Separation Studio, email me at matt@mikeydesigns.com because I haven't really even announced this. I think I've mentioned it in passing, but we are an official reseller of Separation Studio. So if you're interested in it, email me and I'll hook you up with a copy of it. Separation Studio, yeah, it breaks it down into 9 colors and essentially, say for instance, and one of the reasons I've kind of been holding off on this is since we've become a reseller, they're working on some things that I'm excited to show you, and I would still get it. There's a lot. We use it all the time. We use it quite a bit. Anytime it's spot process, which we encounter quite a bit, I'll use it. We just did a job this past Friday using it. And so essentially with your orange, it's combining your yellow and your red to make an orange. But if it's a solid spot orange, that's a different case. You can use the program to designate an orange. It's a really good software. Say for example, the video I have the most views on, I used it to do my brother's racing shirts and did some spot process work with it. And we use it often, so I mean it's worth the investment, but it basically breaks things down into 8 or 9 colors. I believe it's 9. There's certain inks that you do need to use with it. You don't have to buy the spot process inks per se. You just kind of use colors that are close to it. I will say that depending on the job, if you're printing a picture of someone that, like a person's face with flesh tones, then I would definitely get something a little closer to the recommended colors that they do have, which the red is, it's not your standard bright red. It's pulled back just a little bit. The gold on there is somewhat of a pale gold, but there's times when we use it to do jobs and we use our standard red, we use our standard yellow, standard green. So if you would like more information on that, email me and I'll do my best to walk you through it, and I could even Skype you or whatever the case may be and kind of give you a little bit of help with that, because we are a reseller. So let us know and we'll take care of you.
All right, Waldo, I'm going to get to you in a second, but while we're on this train of thought, Chief Alutz wants to know if we sell it with the RIP and have they rolled out the update.
Aha! You heard about that, huh? So that's one of the reasons why we have not really been pushing it, because they will be rolling out the update. I'm 99% sure that if you bought it now, you will get the update along with it. I might have to touch base with them. So they do have an update that is coming out.
Matt's going to be a beta tester.
I'm going to be a beta tester. They're going to train me on the new software. I'm very comfortable with the software. Anytime something doesn't come out right, I know what adjustments to make. The current form it is in now. So I'm going to touch base with them tomorrow and ask what date are we looking at for the update, because they're going to kick the version over to us. They're going to train us, or at least kind of walk us through it, because I feel like I could probably teach some of their staff how to use it that much better, at least in the current version. So I don't even I'm very curious to see, because from my understanding is they're going to use You're going to be able to use vector, raster. You're going to be able to choke your base back, which you can't do in the current version. And there's a lot of goodies built into it. So I'm really, really excited about this coming out because we use it quite a bit. So I'll tell you what, email me. I'll get in touch with them and then see what the status is. And also if you purchase it now, if the update will be available for free. I'm pretty sure it will be because I don't think they'll just leave someone hanging.
Okay. So Waldo wanted to know how our test on Fusion 180 went, and after that...
Yeah. Okay, so our test on the Fusion 180 ink. I will say that I liked it. I favor it in a sense. The only thing I didn't really care for is the Fusion 180 ink was really thick compared to one of the reasons I generally like the Wilflex Epic Amazing Bright White and the low bleed version is it's very creamy and easy to work with. It's not... I will say that the 180 is more opaque, but it's a lot thicker. And one of the things I'm trying to get away from are those really thick inks that just make screen printing manually a nightmare for myself. Because I was so happy to find One Stroke. When we got the polyester ink from One Stroke and I was using Wilflex's stuff, Shannon will tell you that anytime a job came up that involved 100% polyester, you would just hear me bitch.
I don't know.
Well, there you go.
If I'd be able to count it as, that, I just know how many times
there were a lot of cuss words.
Okay.
That would...
I'm just going to be very quiet, and we're just going to let him do his thing, and then when he comes in and he's all grumpy going, huff, 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 I'm just going to sit there and be very, very still. It's kind of like, the Tyrannosaurus Rex in Jurassic Park. If you stay still, they can't see you. That kind of thing. And I just stay very, very still. So you won't notice.
So my
in that way, though, it's a lot of times.
Yeah. So my opinion on it is it puts coverage down really well. I think it probably would be more well suited for an automatic manually. I told them my issues and they told me to put reducer in it. Well, putting reducer in it is kind of defeating the purpose because you're thinning it out like some of the other inks that I like to use. You're reducing your opacity to make it easier to use the ink. So, I mean, aside from that, I think it's great. If you're used to pressing peanut butter through a screen and you're okay with that, then I would say go for it. At the moment, I think I'll stick with what I currently like to use. Although I liked how opaque it was, and the print did seem a little thicker after curing it. And I'll be posting that video this week. And Shannon mentioned she didn't really like it because it felt really thick after curing it.
Well, it felt really thick, and you were testing it on the Shop Gnome shirts. And it lost lost a bit of the details in it. Right.
And a lot of that has to do with just the fact that I was having to put that much more pressure down on it. So you're getting some gain on press. And what gain means is if you have a dot that is this big and you're putting a crap ton of pressure on it or having to do so many passes on it, it's going to open up that much more. And then it just... you lose some of your detail. You might have to go back and wipe your screen a little bit. So I think I'm going to stick with what I have. And I really appreciate the folks sent over at 180 sending us it. I will use that sample up. But I can only imagine when wintertime comes around just how much more of a pain in the butt that's going to be, even though we can put it in the bathroom and keep it a little more controlled.
Okay, well,
it's good, but I don't think it's for us. I don't think it's for me. If I had an automatic, I think it probably would be fine. Manually printing, I'm not a fan of the really thick crap anymore.
All right, well, you're kind of answering the next question. Andrew Garcia, what's the best plastisol ink? And Waldo wants to know, so you only use poly ink on 100% poly shirts, not the blends?
That's right. We use a low bleed ink on the blends. So the low bleed will allow you to print on your 50-50 mixes because it's the low bleed is just what it sounds like. It's basically the polyester in that 50-50 blend. It's going to keep any of the dye migration from happening. If we're doing a tri-blend shirt or anything like that, there's times that we have used the low bleed ink and there has been some dye migration, even though with the particular client that we did that with, they were cool with it because they were kind of looking for more of a vintage kind of one hit type of look. And so it worked out well. Wasn't a big deal. There was one time though, a client provided shirts and I thought it was cotton shirts. And I used a low bleed ink. And it was supposed to be red. It ended up looking maroon because of the dye migration that was happening, and they weren't happy with them. They provided 6 shirts, which, sometimes that stuff happens. I didn't know what. That's why when clients provide shirts and you're not that familiar with what they're providing, it can be an issue. So
bye, Junior. Thank you.
See you later, Junior.
Good night.
So, I can't necessarily say that there's a best ink out there. I can give you suggestions as to what I find is my go-to, but you should try whatever inks are available, inks that you can get. Just try them out, because my opinion on something might not be the same thing for you. So give them a try. Have them all send samples. That's why we're like, send us a sample so we can try it out. If we like it, then we'll be like, yeah, because with the one stroke ink, like, we want to send you it's an all-in-one ink, which I don't really feel like it's an all-in-one ink. It's just a polyester ink, but it's so creamy and easy to work with. It's just easy to work with, and so that's my go-to for polyester. And sometimes even a 50-50 blend, because it is that easy to work with. I'll use that one-stroke NPT ink, and I just love it. I'm happy they reached out to us, because it was a nightmare before.
And the sales rep's a sweetheart, too.
She's very nice. Christy over at One Stroke Ink. You're welcome. If you go over and get some One Stroke ink, let them know that Matt with Mikey Designs sent you. So that way, we can get a little credit for it. In other words, they'll send us some ink, so that way we can keep doing what we do and help support our channel.
Okay, guys, I know you guys have a lot of comments and stuff, but I needed to put this in real fast. One of our clients that we're printing this week, actually, they're called the Yellow Out. Something.
Would you like to pull that up real quick?
Yeah, I did pull it up, and now I'm
blanking.
The Yellow Out campaign.
Flustered.
Excuse me. Yeah, they're called the Yellow Out campaign. They are a nonprofit that work for spina bifida,
spina bifida,
excuse me, which is a condition people are born with where their spinal cords don't actually fully close. And
at
I
their
believe
tail
we have
end.
the link in there, and I told her that we would talk about it.
Yeah, if I hadn't put it into the description just yet, we'll put it in there.
Yeah, so Spina Bifida, it's the Yellow Out campaign, and I think right now her fundraiser is going towards building playgrounds for children, well, obviously, but just building playgrounds and helping, support the research into it. And
Right.
I told her that we would put this out there so that if anybody might be interested in taking a look at them and their website, they feature us on there. And we've been working with them for a very long time, and they're just the sweetest people in the world.
Yeah,
So check that out if you have a chance.
Reagan's great. And as Shannon was saying, the name of their campaign is the Yellow Out campaign. It's for Spinia bifida. We have been printing shirts for them for quite some time, and it's one of the reasons why the name of this particular segment is about working with nonprofit organizations, because we work with quite a bit of them, and it's a niche that we've fallen into kind of by default. Not, I mean, there's a few reasons. One, we enjoy helping people out, and that's what has got us to the point where we're at. It's not always about how much money or how much profit we can make off of someone. A lot of times it's about giving back to the community, and we do that because we help people out with their pricing on t-shirts. That way, it helps cover our expenses, but B, most importantly, which probably should have been A, is supporting causes such as Spina bifida or autism, or say, for instance, one of our friends, their daughter has diabetes, and it's a great thing because you're helping out the community. And when you do good things for people, good things come back, which is, I think, why we're at where we're at. So I'm gonna leave it in the comment. We just been busy today, and I apologize we haven't put it in the description just yet, but we'll put it in the description. Go and check it out. It's a great cause, and Reagan, as always, we really appreciate everything you send over our way, and we're always happy to work with you. And it's a great cause. So it's one of the reasons why we want to talk about nonprofit organizations, is because you should be supporting your community when you do, and even want to, even though a lot of times you're not making the same amount. I mean, there's times when we do help out nonprofits and we're not making anything. Really, we're covering costs. And even sometimes we're even paying to help out. And in that case, they'll put our logo out there, and people will take notice when you do good things for other people. And also, it's great because not only the just helping your community out, but I mean,
that's awesome, Jay.
you can write it off as well in your taxes, and even just the writing the stuff off tax wise, I think is kind of all those fine little details. The reward that you get back helping out your community, and even seeing a group of children that have Spina bifida or autism, or maybe someone has an illness, be it cancer or where the case may be. Just seeing the families, the community get together, and seeing everybody work together, and they share pictures with you, and it's rewarding in its own sense. I mean, you're not necessarily rich because of all the money and profit that's thrown back at you. Sometimes you're rich because of the goodness that you do and the people you surround yourself with. I think that is really the message when it comes to working with a nonprofit organization.
Well, just also not to be like the cold corporate drone over here. I'm just saying.
Call corporate drone.
I'm not a corporate drone, but one of the things you can remember too is the people that host these foundations and fundraisers and things like that, the people they network with are other people that host foundations and fundraisers. They know other people. They're going to spread your name. So as long with giving back to the community, you make a lot more connections and potential clients. I think with Reagan, we now do her mothers. We now do the barbecue people. Tammy, yes. Yeah. Just like a bunch of other things. Like there's another one that came to pick up Reagan's shirts that's going to be using us for a fundraiser.
Right.
It's just you make a lot of connections because those people always need shirts, and it's tax right. It's tax right.
It is, and so that's one of the reasons why having multiple people work together is everybody thinks a little differently, and Shannon is absolutely correct in the sense that because we are doing these good deeds and helping out, there is that networking factor where you're essentially they're putting our name out there. We're able to put our information as a sponsor on their T-shirts or whatever it is we're helping with. Then people take notice and they'll say, "Hey, we really like those shirts. We would like some shirts for our company," or something else might come up. You never know.
And a lot of times, all the time, pretty much, from my experience, is these people are so damn nice.
They are.
They're more than happy if you ask them to hand out business cards. They are more than happy to do that. They enjoy doing kind things for other people, so they want to help you out. It's right. Like, I'll just be like, look, we live off of, referrals. Can you please hand these out? That's all we ask for what discount we have waived. Because a lot of times I think what we do is, like, I know with Reagan's for the spina bifida, we waive the screen fees.
Yeah, and
now she's putting us up on our website.
Yeah, it's little things like that help keep the price where they want it towards where they can raise that much more money to go towards their cause.
And so I know, like, there were a couple times when I first started getting into this, you were kind of like, she's trying to undercut us. She's trying to undercut us. I'm like, stop it. It's for a good cause. And then, it just, the reward pays for itself. And it's just taking the hit on the fees and things like that. It's an investment for the future. And it's a good thing to be doing in the first place. And it benefits you in a lot of ways. I think my mother is actually the one that says, like, the most selfish thing you can do is be kind to other people because it just rewards you more.
And Shannon brings up a good point that, I mean, helping out is a great thing, but also make sure that at the same time, when she's talking about me bitching about the undercutting and all that, I mean, there's a certain point
I might have phrased that wrong.
There's a certain point towards where you can help out, but also if it's not in the budget for you, let's say, for example, let's take overhead costs and all that out, and you're just talking about the cost of the T-shirt, ink, your screen. And if they're willing to pay less than that, and you can't afford it as a small business owner,
right?
Like us, for example, because we're a small shop, then, I mean, that would be something that we turn down. So for us working with nonprofit organizations, we do at least have to cover, not all the time, 100% of our overhead. It'll be a write-off, but there's some times when you also have to learn to say no to some of them. It just depends on.
You gotta make sure you can eat.
The situation. Yes, everybody has to eat. Everybody has to be able to pay their bills and all that. And
we got kids to feed.
There's been a lot of times when I've completely thrown that out the window and not necessarily put myself, family, and all that first in order to help out. So just keep that in mind. But in general, if you can, especially if you can help out, let's say your business is doing really well, you're making a lot of profit and all that, and then you get, if you're working with a handful of nonprofit organizations towards where you can help out, it's a great thing. So
Bye, Jay.
I think it's situational. It's situational. We do our part. I know that.
Well, so to boil it down on my end, work with the try to get it in touch with the nonprofit organizations and stuff. It's well, what Matt's focusing on is, do your good deed for the day. Mine is you're going to meet a lot of people that need shirts.
That's true.
And you're going to make more profit that way.
So it's
a win-win.
Yeah, it's a win-win, but I'm not going to say but. Just know what the extent of where you can help without it putting you out of business, essentially. I think is what it boils down to. And networking.
There's so much networking.
There is so much networking.
You're mocking me.
I'm not mocking you. Okay, Shannon, is there any more questions that we do have that you have seen that have come up?
Andrew asks, what's the most common ink in the silkscreen market? But I figure...
The most common ink or brand? I think in America, it's Plastisol ink. Water-base is making its way up, but I also think that overseas, water-base is a bigger deal than it is here. There's some of the vendors that we do go to that getting water-base is really hard. And then the ones that do, it's either really expensive or there's just not enough of a selection. Plastisol ink going to be your biggest one. What brand you go with is all going to be preference, really. There you have it. I don't know. That's that's that.
Well, apparently, Jason gets a lot of hounding from One Stroke.
A lot of hounding? Are they calling you up saying,
like
hey?
week. Yeah.
Oh, well, we'll just put that to bed and buy some.
They don't call us.
Yeah, they don't call us because we've made, I think, a purchase through them, but they've sent us samples and I don't know.
That's like bribing them to leave you alone.
Part of it, if you don't want to be bothered by someone, if they're hounding you, just tell them to take you off their call list. You'd be like, hey, and for me, Shannon's a lot better at this than I am. Well, and it's not ink companies. A lot of it's just, since we got into the embroidery game, like people just call us up all the time.
Yeah.
Waldo2413 says, I live in their state and they never called me.
Aw.
Well, that's, I wouldn't really consider that a problem. You don't want to be hounded.
Actually, Matt, though, you did bring up a point that I wanted to talk about at some point. Okay, guys, I know we're all in the screen printing business. Some of us are in the embroidery business, and I know most of us are getting a bunch of calls from people named James or John or Jimmy that definitely don't sound like that's their original name.
Or Steven, and their name's probably like really
Muhammad
or something. Not that I'm being racist. That's the most common name in the world.
Anyways, what I was going to say is, guys, I know they get annoying. Matt gets super annoyed with them. No one wants to be cold calling. Okay? So one of the little things you could do is just be civil, polite. They don't want to be calling you as much as you don't want to be taking their calls. Cold calling sucks. And all you got to do is just be like, nope, everything's done in-house. Could you take us off your call list, please? Have a good day.
Yeah. And if it's someone that gives, and I don't know why, I think it must be the time of the year, but I've gotten I think 3 phone calls now from the IRS scam people that
Well, you don't have to be nice to them.
No, you'll get an automated thing, or someone will call you and be like, "Yes, I'm so and so from the IRS. Your case number is blah 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 blah." I'm like, "What's my number? What is your name?" And they'll say, "You owe X amount of dollars," and yada yada yada, and then I just laugh at them. They're gonna send this. A police officer is coming to arrest you, and then I'm like, "Yeah, whatever." I just laugh.
Thanks for the heads up so I can leave.
I laugh. I just laugh at them.
Anyways, guys.
Because it's hilarious.
Anyways, guys, just be nice to the embroidery cold callers. Their job sucks enough as it is.
Shannon obviously used to be a
I've
cold caller.
No, I've done cold calling. It friggin' sucks, and I'm like, you go home every day being sad because you were just screamed at all.
I've tried it once back in 2005, 2004, because the job I was working at got slow, and I'm like, I need work. I'm going to start cold calling people. And I called someone, and they hung up on me, and I was like, this is stupid. You know, I'm just going to find some work the good old-fashioned way by going into places and meeting face-to-face and giving them my 30-second elevator pitch, or it might even be a situation where, like, I feel most comfortable doing that type of deal where I've either at least bought some sort of service, or if it's a friend or an acquaintance where I'm just like, hey, here's, you know, we screen print t-shirts, we do embroidery and promotional products if you ever need, or if you know someone, or if you need help with screen printing or anything like that. Here's our card. Give me a call. Yada yada. That's not my exact pitch, but I mean it's more of, rather than it being like you're some sort of sales guy. Hey, do you need? Nobody likes that. Nobody likes that. But if you can make, you got to be likable for one. Someone, if you're going in there and they think you're if you're kind of a butthole, then, and they don't like you and you're too salesy. We had someone walk in today, and I told Shannon, I was like, we need to put a no soliciting sign up, because the guy came in with a bottle, and the bottle looked like it was 3 years old, and he goes,
I was like, that's a jar.
I'm like, after he left, I'm like, we're locking the door.
No,
he came in.
Just hilarious. He just came in and he just started spraying our windows.
Yeah, he goes.
He's touching everything. What
he's like spraying it on the tent. He goes, hey, have you seen this before? I was like, no. And then he starts spraying this. It was like a citrus cleaner on the window, and like on the tent. Like, it's gonna make that much of a difference, at least in my mind. He sprays it, and then he takes his fingers and goes, and he goes, you see that? You notice something? I'm like, no. What is it? There's no fingerprints. I'm like, well, there's no fingerprints on the inside because it's tinted. Maybe you show me on the outside, it might make some more sense.
And then he started like talking about like the fabric cleaner stuff. Like,
you can use it to clean ink out of your whatever.
So we directed him to the stain on the futon.
Can you put some ink on something and I'll show you how it removes it? I'm like, yeah, there's some right there on the futon from when I sat on it. So he goes and sprays it, and he starts wiping it down.
Nothing happened.
Nothing happened. And I was like, I'll tell you what, I got a product that I want to sell you. And I came back with our press wash, and then sprayed some on the couch. And I was like, okay, give that a scrub. He started scrubbing it. He's like, it's not coming up. But I did notice that it started removing it. I think he stopped because he saw it was removing it. Don't you notice it's like, you can't even see it now. Like, I don't even see it now because I sprayed my stuff on it.
It was so aggressive. And I'm just like, he just walks in and just starts touching things. Yeah.
And then I told him, I was like, would you like to buy some? I can sell you some of this. Would you like to buy some? He's like, no, it's okay. I was like, I'm going to be honest with you. We can't afford a $40 bottle of whatever it is you're trying to sell. Yeah, that doesn't work. And then he was like, oh, okay, what's the business next door? Yada, yada, yada. I was like, it's da-da-da. But
yeah, that was interesting. Anyways, guys, be nice to the embroidery cold callers. They hate their job just as much as you.
Or the ink people, or the people that try to sell you film, or guys like myself that are like, hey, Catspit Productions, promo code Mikey Designs. Hold on, wait a second. Wait. I gotta get this going. Hold on. If you're in need for screen printing supplies or equipment, use our promo code Mikey Designs at catspitscreenprintsupply.com. Yeah, you know it, buddy.
All right.
Anyways, it does help support our channel. It's not like we make a shit ton of money off of it. So, all right, guys, I think we're gonna get out of here. We're a little overdue. So
we always are.
I already did the Catspit spill. You know the deal. If you do need screen printing supplies or equipment, use our promo code at catspitscreenprintsupply.com. Go over to our Facebook page, give us a thumbs up. Go over to our Instagram page, follow us, give our live feeds and our videos a thumbs up, leave a comment and all that great stuff. And as always, we really do appreciate you guys tuning in. Don't forget to check out the Yellow Out campaign. That's Reagan's campaign. It's a really great organization that is essentially funding research for Spinia bifida. And if you don't know what Spinia bifida is, look it up. And Shannon, do you have any words of wisdom or anything you want to say before we take off?
Okay, so 3 pieces of string. No, 3 pieces of string walk into a bar.
Oh.
The bartender says, "I don't serve pieces of string in here." So those pieces of string walk out and they tie themselves together. And they go back into the bar. And the bartender goes, "Hey, aren't you those same pieces of string?" And they both all go, "I'm afraid not."
And there you have it.
But I'm bumped.
There's Shannon's either fun fact, or I'm sure she'll have another fun joke for you guys next time. Anyways, it's been fun as usual. I hope that some of you guys learned something. It's always fun hanging out with y'all. Until next time, guys, we'll see y'all later.
That joke's very